What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone is doing safe, staying well, and testing negative for the viruses. It is time now for the Thursday edition of the Virus Update for Thursday, June 5th, 2025. If you're new to my channel, stick around. We have a very busy day today as we are heading ever so close to that summer surge of viruses in the United States. In fact, in many places, it is already starting to rise, and we're watching things rapidly evolve overseas. Yes, things are going in the wrong direction in many different places. So stick around for that and other news. If you're new, subscribe down below. Give this a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know. And of course, leave your comments down below. Let's start internationally today and take a look at what is going on in India. India is seeing a big increase for cases. Now, right off the bat, you're saying, oh, these are not big numbers. Mind you, there's over 1 billion people that live in India. They likely miss a lot of cases, but to see the numbers going up is concerning, meaning that even just somewhat of an increase means things are probably getting pretty bad over there. And right now, their active case number is now up to 4,866. They've added another 564 cases just in the last 24 hours. Their number of deaths has been rising. Yes, they have, looks like a number of 6 deaths have been recorded in the last 24 hours. It was an even higher number yesterday, and we're seeing some of these age numbers in India, younger people, so that is concerning as well. We'll also have international data from the UK in just a little bit. We got to get to some measles news next. 7th measles case in Denver linked to a flight. Yes, Denver International Airport is reporting yet another measles case, and the number of measles cases in Colorado continues to go up. This is just not a good thing as to what's going on with measles, but there is some slight good news today. I believe that is the only measles case we have for today. Yes, we're already done with measles. Tomorrow we will get the CDC measles update. I think it may end up being a bigger increase this week, just because if you've been following the channel the past several days, we've had a lot of different measles stories. All right, Brazil's minister says signs show efficient control of bird flu outbreak. As you know, a lot of countries are halting poultry imports from Brazil, and they're saying things are starting to look a little bit better. We can only hope that continues to be the case there. They've had a lot of cases of confirmed bird flu. And moving on to this, Bangladesh notifies the WHO of 2 recent human H5N1 avian flu infections. Yes, this is something that's not good. We've been seeing a few human cases start to pop up internationally. Cambodia recently had some deaths in relation to H5N1. Human cases, they're still a thing. We have not seen any here in the United States in a while. Not to say we won't see any more this year, but we've seen a lull in that action right now, and hopefully it stays that way, because we had a concerning period back earlier in the year where we were seeing a lot of human cases pop up, and it did get rather concerning there for a while. All right, taking a look at this from Gregory Travis. This is the COVID versus influenza report. In May 2025, 180 people died from their influenza infections. However, when it comes to COVID, mind you, during a COVID law, this is in the United States, 643 people died from their SARS-CoV-2 COVID infections, 4 times the amount of influenza, and shows you that, yes, influenza is still not as deadly as COVID. COVID is still causing more deaths than influenza at this point. Moving on to something now from Mike Honey, and this is a thread. We're not going to read the whole thread. We're just going to read a few things from the thread. And this has to do with Australia when it comes to influenza and RSV. And you're probably asking, well, why am I talking about this now? Remember, they're headed towards winter over there, so we need to see what's going on with winter there, because that can kind of give us an idea of what may be to come next fall and winter here when it comes to these wintertime viruses. Reported influenza cases continue to rise for May, but at a steady pace, whereas up to April, it was running at a tsunami pace. In other words, I mean, it was going to be, yikes, it was going to be really big. But at a steady pace, it now looks like either a lower or later peak than prior years. So you can see here, this dark green line, which is 2025. We're not seeing what was happening in other years. Remember last year, pretty much every country had these huge flu outbreaks. We had it here in the United States. Australia had it. You can see here in 2024, their red line, it went way up. Well, right now, that is not happening. But there are some areas there where it is happening. Take a look at this. The trend for influenza case growth in Victoria is significantly higher than the national picture. It is still tracking slightly above the record-setting wave of 2024. So that's not good to see what's happening in Victoria, but on the national level, that is not happening at this time. And looking at the influenza cases on a per capita basis for the eastern states, 7-day rolling average, Queensland had an earlier minor wave in April. And remember, some parts of Australia, remember that Australia Open for tennis? There was some flu going around then, and that may have sparked something. So there was a little bit of early flu going on over there in Australia. Reported RSV cases for Australia rose steeply for May, ahead of the pace of every recent year except 2024. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's not good. 2024 was even higher, but not good to see what's happened with RSV. RSV cases for the years prior to 2020 are not quite zero, but very close to it. There's no obvious explanation on the NNDSS pages. That's Australian source. I don't know what that stands for, but it doesn't seem credible. And, RSV prior to 2020 here was not as big of an issue. I don't have a chart for the United States, but to be honest with you, I didn't know much about RSV until the COVID era. And then when I started tracking these viruses, remember, I'm an independent reporter. I'm a data reporter. I'm not a degreed person. I'm here just trying to independently look at the data and research what's going on and report it to you and just show you what I find. And one of the things I learned about during the COVID era was RSV and how RSV has become an increasing issue. All right, moving on to this. The trend for RSV case growth in New South Wales is NSW. It's significantly higher than the national picture. It is just off the record-setting pace of 2024. Yeah, take a look at that. So, there you go. Influenza and RSV over in Australia. In northern Idaho, here in the United States, chronic wasting disease cases in deer now tally 6 after 3 more detections have been reported. And as we know, early detection of chronic wasting disease is critical as it creates opportunities to take action. A lot of states, I know here in Pennsylvania, we do chronic wasting disease management areas where if you do hunt in one of those areas, you have to report your deer and it has to be tested. That's just the way it works. All right, moving on to this. Rod Stewart is continuing to have problems. His doctors have ordered him to get more rest. Rod Stewart cancels second concert on doctor's orders, and it's sounding like he has the flu this time. That's what he is saying. He was supposed to do another show during his Las Vegas residency, and that's not going to happen right now because apparently he is dealing with the flu. I don't know if it's flu A or flu B. We do know in the springtime flu B does show up more in the data. So, Rod Stewart still dealing with some problem. Now moving on to this. Keke Rosberg, and while it's not good news, it's good to see that he's opening up and being public about this. F1 legend Keke Rosberg reveals illness struggles. F1, I believe that's racing. I'm not a big follower of racing, but apparently this is a big deal. F1 legend Keke Rosberg reveals illness struggles, hardly have any energy left. What could that be? Probably the first thing going through your mind is long COVID. Most people don't usually publicly admit long COVID. Not in this case. He's actually talking about it. And we're going to have to do some research here. This will make it to the archive. Former world champion Keke Rosberg has said he is struggling severely as he battles symptoms of long COVID. The 1982 world champion has spoken openly about his situation with the issues coming from the coronavirus pandemic. Rosberg made history by becoming the first Finn to win the world championship in Formula One, driving for the Williams team. His son then followed in his footsteps and won 2016. And if we come down here, he said this: I hardly have any energy left. The 76-year-old former world champion reveals in an interview get this. It was so unfortunate that I got stuck in Levi and had to stay in isolation for 70 days, fortunately with a friend, and there is more. According to him, the long period of isolation contributed to the worsening of symptoms after infection. I used to have a list of things I still had to do. Now I also have a list, but it's a list of things I can no longer do. Yeah. And he goes on to also say, understanding of post-COVID is still almost non-existent. There are an incredible number of people suffering severely from it. So, yeah, that is a big time, someone coming public about that. We need more people to do it. We need more people to do it. We know there's a lot of famous people dealing with long COVID that just won't admit it because we're watching all these people who have been sick. They say illness, mysterious, this, that. They won't publicly state what it is, and it all sounds like a similar theme, and it all sounds like things that people with long COVID end up dealing with. All right, my website, datareport.info. You can find there, I do post daily postings of what I put in the virus up, the news updates, and these things I share from X or other stuff that's in the beginning of the video does make it into a daily post. Today's will either come directly after this or later in the evening. I think I might be going back out to work this evening. All right, we got to get to the UK now. The UK did have an increase this week, pretty much across the board when it comes to COVID. Weekly cases, 1,124. That's up by 103. Remember, someone's probably saying that's not a big number. Okay, not testing and at-home testing is a big reason for that. Deaths, 72 deaths. That's up by 4. Healthcare, hospital patients admitted, 1,043. And the positivity rate is 5.4%. And if we scroll down here, we do see that is a number that is continuing to steadily increase. In fact, on May 30th, it was 5.73% showing up here on this chart. We'll take a look at more things from the UK as we head into the weekend. We do now need to take a look at air qualities. This is another big issue today in the United States. People that have breathing problems. Today's not a good day for that. Take a look at this. This is really bad. Generally, east of the Rocky Mountains, not to discount. Take a look at California. There's some problems going on there, but there are big problems going on in the eastern portions of the United States. Really, if you suffer from COPD, asthma, long COVID, chronic coughing, any of those things, allergies, you do not want to be outside today in these areas. I'm shocked that I'm even going to be going back out to work this afternoon because, take a look at this. This is really bad air quality. You know what? Maybe I won't go back out this afternoon because this is really dangerous. You could easily have an asthma attack, a breathing episode. It's not something you want to mess around with, so please take this serious. All right, taking a look at what is going on in Canada, and we do see the wastewater viral activity level for COVID-19 is moderate. Flu A is low, Flu B is low, and RSV is low at this time. All right, doing some of our live look-ins right now. Wow, Florida. This is Pinellas County, Florida. Active calls live as we're recording, 2:50 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. We do see a number of calls. Breathing problems, sick person, falls, unknown problem, abnormal behavior. Just a lot of calls right now. Philadelphia, yeah, we had a ton of calls yesterday in my city. 944 EMS calls were reported in Philadelphia yesterday. It's getting hotter out. The air quality is not good. There's people starting to get sick once again. It's just a combination of calls. Take a look at what's going on in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Look at this. Respiratory emergency at this very moment showing up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Also, a lot of vehicle accidents. That's not good. There's been an increase of vehicle accidents since the start of the pandemic, and we do know being sick and post-COVID, it can alter the brain's comprehension, and it can alter driving behavior. There's been studies on it now showing it. Chester County, Pennsylvania is seeing a few calls, including 2 sick person calls. This is live right now. This is not for the whole day. All right, taking a look at what's going on with the hospital situation in Pennsylvania. And it's been busier lately. Today is not as busy of a day. You can see here, there's a few hospitals dealing with problems, but it's not terribly busy. Taking a look, do we want to take a look at wastewater for Pennsylvania? It's been trending upward ever so slightly on a statewide level. I'll show that to you. You can see here, slight increase there. Taking a look at New Jersey, and we're going to do something that we don't usually do on Thursdays for New Jersey. First off, the hospital situation there is doing just fine. Very good today. But I have to show you New Jersey's update when it comes to the respiratory report, because emergency department visits, look at this, and hospital admissions increased since last week for COVID-19. And remember, we were starting to see some hospitals a few days ago deal with problems. I don't know if that contributed to it, but this is post-Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, we thought it might happen in New Jersey, because going down to Jersey Shore is a big deal for Memorial Day weekend. Walgreens this week, the national positivity rate was 15.2%. Not a lot of focus on this week. They're missing data, so I can't show you much from there. All right, New York State, and it is New York City Day. 520 people tested positive, and you can see, yeah, that the trend here, the averages, yeah, it's clearly going upward. There was a little bit of an increase today for hospitalizations, 328 people in the hospital, and 27 people in the ICU. Now let's pause and take that hydration break, shall we? We forgot to do it yesterday. Let's take an extra big sip of water today. Alrighty, doesn't that feel much better? I do want to show you some wastewater data, but before we take a look at this, we do have some data from CJS today. And we have Tuesday numbers and Wednesday numbers. Florida on Tuesday had 717 new cases. That seems to be increasing. New York had 345. Puerto Rico, 257 new cases, and he puts a note. The evening update was late and is not accounted for on Tuesday. Maine weekly numbers had 203 new cases. Maine's highest weekly count since mid to late February, and 5 new deaths. We've been watching wastewater. It's going up in Maine now. Maryland weekly had COVID numbers are 317 new cases and 2 new deaths. Michigan weekly numbers, 485 new cases and a net retraction of 10 deaths. A total of 16 deaths from early June 2023, January 2025 were retracted from the state's count, while 6 deaths since last week were added. Virginia weekly numbers, 710 new positive tests and 6 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Wednesday numbers, Florida, 406 new cases and 8 new deaths. New York, 431 new cases. Puerto Rico, 441 new cases. Hawaii, this is their highest number in 9 months since last October. 232 new cases and 3 new deaths. Washington, 312 emergency department visits, and this is Washington State now. 11 new deaths already, and yikes, they're still coming out of their law for COVID. All right, I have to show you here a few wastewater sites. We're not going to take a look at a lot of them, but let's go up to the Northeast first. And you know what? Let's go to the Northeast as a whole. Take a look at this. Yeah, things are starting to go up. Did you have on your bingo card the Northeast rising first before the West Coast or the South on wastewater scan? I did not. I even said I thought they would be late. Okay, here we are. Things are starting to go up, and it's not just like it's just, oh, it's slow. No, it's really starting to increase here. This is not good in the Northeast. Take a look at Vermont. Let's go to Montpelier, Vermont. It's the closest wastewater site to some of these resort areas in Vermont. But take a look here. Yeah, rapidly starting to go up in Montpelier once again. They already had a wave back in April. And here we are. It's going up once again. That's not good. We also see here portions of Massachusetts. Take a look at this. Worcester, Massachusetts. Yes, that is going up at this time. You can see it is almost rapidly going up. So yes, we are really picking up the pace for COVID in the Northeast. Let's come down here to Florida. This is different from yesterday. Orange County, Florida, eastern Orange County, Florida. You see that is starting to increase as well. All right, let's stop at the wastewater. And someone's probably saying, what about the West Coast? I do have something from California. Take a look at this. This is the effective reproduction number, called the R effective. In other words, it's the average number of people each infected person will pass the virus, meaning COVID in this case, on to and represents the rate at which COVID is spreading. Santa Barbara, California, you can see here, is showing up here. And take a look at this. The reproductive number is rapidly increasing at this time, up through to about May 31st. Yeah, this means, and it says right here, the reproductive number is 1.86. The spread of COVID-19 is likely increasing rapidly. So things are starting to pick up. This is going to probably spread to more areas. You know, people move around. They don't just stay in one area. So this is not good. The trends are not good. We are headed for a big wave here in the United States. We're headed for a big wave around the world right now. We're watching the XFG COVID variant and the NB.1.8.1 COVID variant. Remember yesterday I said multiple variants. I don't know which one's going to become dominant first. It could be one takes over in the west and then the other one takes over in the east. Let's end on a good note real quickly, shall we? Ohio today. Now, RSV went up slightly for hospitalized 13. Hey, flu hospitalizations in Ohio dropped this week to 18, and COVID 72. That did drop this week. Alrighty, folks, if you enjoyed today's update, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, leave your comments down below. If you want to support my channel and the work I do, there are ways to do that down below. I will see everyone again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Thursday afternoon. Thanks for watching.